it's Malsiv. Welcome back in. I am starting off today, as you can see, in our last build from the Malsiv Builds series. So this is episode 2. We're going to go outside. Still really in love with this. Go back and watch the first video if you haven't already to kind of see how all that was put together. So we're back in our brand new builds world. And I think over here, we're going to start building us a nice starter home. Something interesting, something that you'll maybe even use beyond your starter home. You may continue to stay in here or at least incorporate it into some of your larger builds as time goes on. Pretty basic as far as materials go, and yet something that doesn't necessarily look like a starter home. Let's get into the build, though, and let's see how I would put something like this together. All right, first things first, we're going to start off with some cobblestone. And the idea behind this, to make it a little more interesting, is we're not going to build anything straight. We want everything to be on an angle. So we're just going to take 2 at a time and kind of push this on an angle. And if we start off, let's just go with 6. Okay, have a little bit of a bigger place. Or maybe we want to be cozy. Let's start with 5. And then when you get to the end, you can see we've got the 2 going on each of these, and then we kind of bump out and make this corner a little bit larger. And we go 3 out that way, and then this one is going to come in. Then we come out, and we do the 2, the 2, the 2, and the 2. Now, cobblestone, of course, not very hard to come by. And that, if we kind of square it up this direction, you can see the rectangular shape. That's going to be our house. But it's on an angle, so everything else, it'll give it a little bit more interest. It'll be a little more, I don't know, dynamic in the world. So once we have this up, let's do some walls. Okay, we got some walls put up now, and I've only used, you can see that I'm starting a palette over here. So we've got the cobblestone, we're using spruce planks and stairs. This is stripped dark oak. I think the dark oak looks way better with the spruce than the stripped spruce because there's that hint of green in there. There are some uses for that, and I think it's still a great block. But the dark oak just blends in a little bit nicer to give you some texture. And the barrels I like to throw in there as well. It gives you some secret storage, but also it does match the color and texture and just adds a little more something to the build. There is one trapdoor. Most of these, we'll show you that in just a second, but you can see the walls just come up inside where the cobblestone is, and you just sort of randomize what blocks go where. And we have some openings for windows. So we have 2 windows on the back, 1 on the front, and then we'll have a doorway. If you can get your barrels upside down, this is the bottom of the barrel. It looks very close to the spruce, but a little more worn. Nice for patches of flooring as well if you want a spruce floor to have sort of a worn-in look around a door or an entryway. Yeah, we got that underneath there as well. So this is looking like a lot of spruce over here, so we would just add maybe one of those just to mix it up a little bit. And then, so yeah, we've got our walls in. Again, if we look at it from the top, you can kind of see what's going on. For all these, again, it's just the inside outline of where those cobblestone blocks were, except for the door. We got the door on this one here. So we replaced the blocks here with a stair and an oak trap door placed from here at the back side. So we want that open, and this is going to be our doorway to come in, and I added an extra row of blocks here for the door itself. So from there, we can add a floor in, and once the floor is in, we can have the door as well, and then we'll do the windows. The windows are kind of my favorite part of all of this, and that's there's a neat little trick to do with glass panes in an angled build. Most of the time with an angled build, you'll see full blocks, but glass panes obviously give you a little more depth and a little more appearance. So let's see what that looks like once all that is put in place. All right, now we got some wall details put in. We got a entryway started. So we put a spruce plank down at the bottom to put our door on. So we can come inside. We've got our floor here made up of cyan terracotta and gray concrete. It makes a nice little checkerboard pattern. This might be where we come into, say, the kitchen. And we would just extend this out just a little bit. I think I want that a little bit wider just so it fits into this nook here. And we're going to change this area in just a minute. But yeah, this also helps. A little window. Pop it open, shoot some creepers, whatever it may be. But I like that next to the door. Makes it kind of a nice entryway. We'll put some stairs up here in a minute, probably build a deck on the front. But I also added some spruce trap doors because, again, they add to the same color palette, but with a little bit of texture, a little bit of depth. And then we added in our glass panes, and I used cyan just to give us some extra color, a little bit of extra contrast against, and the blue with the brown. Let's face it, looks really good. Trap doors, when they open, will still have the gap that you would normally see, but when they close, it completes it. So we can have the spruce planks on the edges, on the inside and outside, so that we now have depth to our windows while still not having to have extra blocks. And sometimes I continued that to be a double. Sometimes I left it as a single, but just added some more around there for some more texture and interest onto our little home here. And I think it's looking really good. So we got half the floor in, we got the walls up, we got windows. And again, the terracotta might be a little tougher to find. The concrete, maybe early game, you can make the floors out of any materials that you like that you can find. You can think about using, say, like stone, deep slate, some of those other grays if you want to kind of go with a similar feel, or do it all one color. You don't necessarily have to have it textured. There's a lot of ways you can make floors interesting in Minecraft. So once we've got that, now we got to think about the second half of the house, the flooring of that, and maybe some extra interior features. So let me get some of that set up real quick and we'll take a quick peek. All right, we've added just 4 new blocks. There's been a little bit of decoration, but when we come inside now with the addition of a few things, we have like a furnace, smoker, put a little brick stack on here, so we got a chimney. You could do this with stone bricks as well. We got some cauldrons with some water, and then we added some chests for storage, stood up some of these birch trap doors to kind of hide our bed. So as you come in, you kind of come into the kitchen, a little hangout area, and then we come into where we can actually go to sleep and have an ender chest. Early game, obviously not something you're going to have, but you could have just a chest there with your valuables. This could be more stuff that, you know, can be sat out, sort of a thing. The other thing you could do is we grab some of these blocks. You can actually put in these skinnier areas some storage, some little shelves here. We could add a shelf underneath that one. Add the barrel up there. And then, of course, as you come in, maybe have 3 barrels in this wall. Just fill in those little tiny gaps with some storage areas. And now you've got storage here. You got the hidden storage in the wall. You got all kinds of stuff where you're able to store things. You've got water on hand. You could do this as, you know, just trapdoors. Not that way. And then have water in there without the cauldrons. Obviously, early game iron's going to be a little bit harder to come by. We'll put another barrel up there, so we got some storage up top. You could also, above this, you know, just kind of keep it going. Because outside, that's going to look very much like the spruce and a little texture there, so you won't really notice. But inside, you've got a row of these here. You could add one there as well, but I think we'll leave that one alone, as we're looking pretty good on the storage, you know, capacity for just a small starter home with some pretty easy to get wood. We'll throw a roof on this, maybe decorate it some more, make it a little more homey, and probably get an approach or a deck on the front. So let's get that taken care of real fast, shall we? All right, a few quick additions here and there, and a roof on top, and we've got our starter house done. Most of this is going to be pretty easy to get early on. You may want to change out some of the materials. The deep slate makes a really good looking roof, I think, but maybe harder early on in the game unless you're getting right into the branch mining. This is all just tiled and polished deep slate with the stairs and the slabs. A little pot on top to finish off our chimney. Obviously a larger chimney you could hide a campfire in, make it smoke, all of that good stuff. If you were to make this longer, we've got 5 sections of the house, so 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, as it goes back, these little sections of the wall. If you go to 7 or 9, and generally you want to keep it on odd numbers, just like you do with most builds, because that allows for the alternating of windows, but you can really increase the size. It's pretty impressive. Ran around, added a little bit of landscaping, some azalea bushes, a little lantern. Underneath each one of these is a jack-o'-lantern. So we've got sufficient lighting around the house. As we see, there's a few of them. Jack-o'-lantern's pretty easy to come by early game. So we got some lighting in the ground that isn't producing smoke like a torch might. One little torch out front, wayward lantern. I put an extra barrel here And that's my mail. So if you're on a server, people could come and drop you items or messages without coming into your home. I did add a pressure plate. Again, another jack-o'-lantern. You could cover that up with carpet as well if you wanted to do something different on the inside. But this way, we got a little sign up top, some decoration. We got cookbooks maybe. We got some paintings on the wall. And we got our little suit of armor over here. All of our chests and stuff in place. It's looking pretty nice. I added the jack-o'-lanterns under the bed as well. Maybe that's a rug underneath it. But this way, these 3 jack-o'-lanterns are sufficiently lighting the interior of this house so that we're not going to have any mob spawns in the corner. You know, you could have like a basement. You could crawl down in there. It's a pretty small basement right now, but, you know, your imagination could go pretty crazy with that. And, yeah, that gets us our nice little starter home pretty easy. And for a starter home, it's not a dirt hut. It's pretty good looking. Scale this up, make this bigger. Okay, almost wrapped up the video, but I got inspired. And instead of just doing our small house, what happens if we were to scale this up just a bit? We've made it a little bit deeper and a little bit wider, and then I made it a little bit taller. So now we've got these much larger windows. We can actually put in a fireplace that has some smoke coming out of the top. That's just a campfire. We put buttons up on top here, stone and then the black stone, to remove any spawn spaces. We didn't want any, you know, creepers falling off our roof coming to get us. But otherwise, we did this in the same sort of vibe that we did the other house in. And as we kind of come up to this one, it has that same feeling, but is larger. We're able to hang a lantern out front. We still got our mailbox. We come inside, same type of thing with the jack-o'-lanterns, but now we've got room to move around in, and it wasn't much bigger. We went a little bit wider this way, and we added 2 more going this way. And then we went up another level, but now we've got a couple of smokers. We've got some chests on shelves. We got little potted plants, a couple of sinks with even a faucet. We can put paintings. There is jack-o'-lanterns hiding in there. So we can just have carpet on the floor. That was light blue. Now it's cyan, because that's what I had. But yeah, you can look down here into like the living space. We've got a small table to sit at, hanging plant, larger potted plant, and then of course our item frames to make paintings with just a flower in the middle, which works really well. We've also got jack-o'-lanterns hidden down in here. And all that, just the jack-o'-lanterns will light up the entire space and make it spawn-proof in this size. Of course, the table leg, you may not be able to do this early game, having the end rod, but a fence post would work just fine as well. You can experiment with tables. You could use actually scaffolding for a table if you'd like as well. So that makes it pretty straightforward. But now we've kind of got this seating area, a little chest behind the couch. We've got a chair here. Our bed is still tucked away. Got our storage back there. So we're just expanding the space we have to kind of walk around. And then we've got room actually to have like a spiral staircase using stairs with carpet. Of course, in this world, we hit bedrock already. But you can just walk straight up those. And you can have a spiral staircase going down underneath as deep as you want. And then you've got a large basement without using a ladder. Taller windows so you can actually see outside a little bit more. Just makes it sort of a nice feeling. That increased height going from 3 to 4 really livens it up and makes it, I think, a much more inviting space. We can put paintings on the wall. We can do quite a bit to make this just feel more open. And again, all we did to go from one to the other, where we started this one with 5 sections, you can see this one, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We just added 2 more. And then on the side, we did the same kind of a thing. We've got 3 over there. We've got 5 over here. So we've just expanded it basically by 1 section. You want to add it in 2s so you always have an odd number. And then just built the roof the same way we did on the other one, except we added the buttons. You can see outside, not a lot of difference looking, but there is quite a bit of space difference when we go into this one here. So yeah, I would recommend if you're going to build something you're going to stay in, make it a little bit larger. But again, this is on you to experiment with. Instead of going by 2s, you could go by 3s, you could go by 4s, you could alternate, go 3, 2, 3, 2. Play around with the angle designs. You're going to have a lot of fun with it. You'll find all those nooks and crannies and some really fun ways to design and make this just kind of beautiful. So thanks again for coming in. This is Malsiv. I'm glad you're here. go ahead and hit that subscribe and like button if you want to come back and see more. We're gonna keep this up, and I hope you enjoy it.